Welcome to the Linkless Wrestling Broadcast. I am your host, Rob Demeni. JB disappeared. Where'd he go? The rumor has it, as there was some trailer park trash walking by, he had to go show him who the shock pimp really was. Anyways, talk about the Royal Rumble, the actual match, the main event, the lead up to WrestleMania, to see who goes in to WrestleMania to face whoever the champion may be. So, the match starts out, CM Punk on Monday Night Raw was announced to be the first entrant in tonight's Royal Rumble, in the Royal Rumble of 2014. Comes out first, gets a really good reaction. Seth Rollins comes out second. It actually comes out through the crowd. And that started off the match. I was expecting kind of like a mini match. I was kind of surprised that that's not what they did. They kind of just punched and kicked until the third person came out. Sandow was out third. These three kind of mingled about, and then Cody Rhodes came out fourth, and that was the first elimination. Sandow was eliminated by CM Punk, and then that left Rhodes, Punk, and Rollins. They weren't really doing anything particularly super fantastic. Rhodes hit the crossroads at some point, but other than that, there really wasn't a lot going on. Kane was the first surprise entrance. Corporate Kane took off the shirt and tie, came out, pretty much went right to work on CM Punk after briefly mingling with Cody Rhodes. And basically the whole thing was like Kane was trying to eliminate Punk so that he could ensure that he would not go into WrestleMania with a shot at the title. But Punk was able to turn the tide, kicked him in the head, and dumped him over the top rope, eliminating Kane second. And then Alexander Rusev from NXT was your next entrance. His WWE debut. I don't know if he's going to stay on the main roster after this, or if he's going to go back to NXT, and they just kind of used him for tonight just to kind of see like how he would do. In my opinion, he kind of choked in the spotlight. He, I guess, does like a lot of like Umaga, Big Samoa type moves. I would say like a mix of Taz and Umaga. It's kind of like how this guy's offense was. He doesn't wear any boots, which is kind of interesting considering he's in the Rumble. And a lot of his offense looked rough. A lot of his interaction with everybody wasn't really working out so great. Did tell a pretty decent story of how he was going to get eliminated, though. Pretty much from the start, he interacted with everybody in the ring at one point in time, so he pretty much attacked everybody. Pretty much unwarranted. And then Swagger came in. Swagger versus Rusev. The two biggest guys in the Rumble at this point. They traded punches, they traded kicks. Basically, it was just like that, two giants come together, what's going to happen kind of deal. There was a "We the People" chant during this portion of the match, which was pretty loud, pretty funny, considering Swagger's supposed to be a heel. Kofi came out seventh, and then Jimmy Uso came out right after him. Uso had a little bit of, he kind of attacked a little bit everybody, kind of establishing everybody man for themselves. But again, at this stage of the Rumble, I was expecting, right up until this point, there really wasn't a lot of people in the ring. I thought they could still do their spots like they've done in previous years. But it was pretty much a standard battle royal at this point. Goldust came out 10th. He was kind of like, House of Fire for a little bit. He kind of doled out a lot of offense. He looked pretty tough. He kind of established that he was in the house. I thought he got a pretty decent reaction. At this point, Rusev got thrown out by everybody in the ring because, again, he had attacked everybody moving pretty much. So they all kind of combined and threw him over the top. And then it was at this point, CM Punk thought he eliminated Kofi Kingston, kicked him off the apron, but then Rusev caught him and a fall away slam kind of movement. Took him over to the barricade and started doing some kind of knee thing. It was pretty much just to set up the coming spot. Kofi Kingston was on the guardrail right in front of the ring, and he stood up, got his balance, and I was thinking, there ain't no way in hell he's jumping from that guardrail to the ring. He did it. He jumped from the guardrail, cleared probably a good 5 feet, maybe 6, and hit the apron, and did it pretty with relatively ease. I mean, I was kind of surprised how easily he did this pretty athletic maneuver. And the crowd popped for that, obviously, which was the point. Ziggler came out next to... I'm sorry, no. Dean Ambrose came out next. And then Ziggler came out to a really good reception. And there was even a Let's Go Ziggler chant. R-Truth came out after that. Again, like, there really isn't a whole lot to describe. Punches, kicks, etc. Attempted eliminations, people kind of getting back into the ring, etc., etc. There was a lot of guys in the ring at this point. But then the two members of S.H.I.E.L.D., Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, combined to eliminate two pretty much back-to-back, right as I say. There's a ton of guys in the ring. They eliminate R-Truth, and then they eliminate Jimmy Uso. So establishing that the S.H.I.E.L.D. are a pretty credible threat as long as they work together. Nash came out to a decent pop next. It was a pretty good reception for a guy that just came back not too long ago and kind of had a lot of ill will due to his perceived interaction with Punk that kind of went sour. He did dye his hair back to a color. It wasn't black like it used to be. It was more of like a light brown. He looked in decent shape. He got a really decent reaction. He tossed out Swagger. And then Roman Reigns came out. So all three members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. are in the Royal Rumble at this point. Reigns proceeds to toss out Kofi, spears Dolph, tosses out Dolph, and then he actually tosses out Kevin Nash too. They had a weird interaction here right before Nash gets eliminated, where Nash came running over, and I guess Roman Reigns like headbutted him in the chest to get him off, so he could do the spear spot with Dolph. And then Nash came running over. Reigns pulls down the top rope. Basically, Kevin Nash eliminated himself, but still it counts. At that point, the Great Khali comes out. All three members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. realize this guy's like huge. Why don't we just team up, eliminate this guy as soon as we can? I think it would have been awesome. And he took a step over the top rope, and they all three clotheslined him out immediately because he's garbage. But instead, they gave Khali some offense that looked atrocious. And then eventually, all three members helped eliminate him, with Roman Reigns grabbing his tights and lifting them over. At this point, the commentary had to say basically Roman Reigns eliminated him. That the other two were basically just kind of helping. I think this was just they were keeping in the back of their head, oh wait, we gotta make sure that counts, because he was gonna break the record. Spoiler alert. At this point, you know, it's the S.H.I.E.L.D. and CM Punk left in the ring. So all three members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. are basically beating down Punk in the corner. The clock's getting ready to run out. Clock hits 0. Out comes Sheamus. Another surprise. The crowd pops big time. He's been out for almost a year. He comes in, pretty much single-handedly takes on all three members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Does the bro kick, does like a couple other of his moves. He was really over. He stood in the ring and did his arm spread and got a really solid reaction. I think the crowd, after kind of being a little burnt out on him right before he left, I think the time away kind of really rehabbed a lot of his image. And then right as, you know, the tide turns, S.H.I.E.L.D., still three guys, turns the momentum a little bit against CM Punk and Sheamus. At that point, Miz came out, and it was basically, you know, Miz, Sheamus, Punk versus the S.H.I.E.L.D. It was pretty even back and forth throughout this process. Nothing really super to report during this time. Fandango comes out, gets the big pay-per-view reaction, and everybody does that da 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 da. Yeah. It'll go back to being nobody Monday night. Then the weirdest moment of the entire Royal Rumble. There's always a comedy, but it's usually a lot earlier in the Rumble. But El Torito got an entrance into the Rumble. He did moves. He did things. But then he did things to Punk. And I was just kind of like, why is a main eventer even selling anything for a midget? I mean, it was kind of weird. And I mean, I get it. It was kind of funny. And the crowd was kind of reacting to it. But it was just like so lame. He does eliminate Fandango, who gets a short stay in the Rumble. But then Roman Reigns eliminates him, and everything was as it should be. Cesaro comes in and basically big swings everybody, including pretty much, I think it was like 12 straight seconds of a big swing. Like it was like the countdown, the 10, 9, 8, 7. And it went to 0, and then he stopped doing the big swing to Seth Rollins. It was a really cool spot. The crowd was really into it. That was basically his shine of the night. Harper was in next, and the Shield was kind of protecting each other here and there. If this person was getting almost eliminated, Dean Ambrose would interfere. If Dean Ambrose was getting eliminated, Roman Reigns might step in, etc. And they were kind of still, the announcers weren't doing a real good job of pointing it out. I think most of the time in this match, because there was a lot of members in the Rumble at any given time, except for a few occasions, the commentators were a little overwhelmed here to follow the action. Next up, another surprise entrant, JBL, comes straight from the commentary booth, steps up into the ring, forgets to take off his jacket, takes off his jacket, says, "Here, Michael Cole, grab this coat for me." While he's doing that, Roman Reigns eliminates him. That is his 7th elimination of the night. And then Miz was eliminated by Roman Harper, and Uso, the other Uso, was also eliminated. At some point he came down to. The other Uso was tossed by the Wyatt family as well. Next up, Alberto Del Rio. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, Jey Uso came in before JBL. Eric Rowan, so both members of the Wyatt family are in at this point. Sorry about that. Ryback came in. Then at number 26, got a little bit of heat, but nothing like really great. Number 27 was Del Rio. Del Rio came in. They made mention to the fact that he won the biggest Rumble in history when they did that 40-man Royal Rumble. Then Batista, at that point I looked at JB and I said, well, if Del Rio's out now, Batista's going to come out next and pretty much eliminate him, which is exactly what happened. Del Rio was interacting with Batista, and Batista tossed him. He also tosses Eric Rowan, Ryback before Del Rio. He actually tosses Rowan, Ryback, and then Del Rio in that order. Him and Ryback kind of had a back and forth before he eliminated him, but then he went to do the Feed Me More clothesline. Batista ducked it, flipped him over the turnbuckle, and eliminated him. And then he picked up Del Rio with one arm and threw him over the top to eliminate him. Big E came in at this point at number 29. Had a pretty decent heat. He attacked Sheamus. He attacked a couple other guys. Hit a couple big moves. Looked kind of impressive at this point. He had a decent showing. And then, it's kind of getting to the point where we're down to the last guy. And, well, that's when the Rumble goes from kind of mediocre because of the match quality to just WWE pissing all over its fans. Because your third entrance in the 2014 Royal Rumble was not Daniel Bryan. It was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio comes out, and the crowd is kind of stunned. Like, the crowd at first kind of was like, wait, that was number 30. Daniel Bryan's not in the Rumble. Hold on. And then it's like, wait, and as soon as the music turned off, the crowd turned immediately on the rest of this match. They booed Rey Mysterio out of the building. Why they blame Rey, I don't know, but they turned on him hard. Rey did his normal thing. He did the 619 and other spots, and every time he did something, basically he got booed. Shield basically disintegrates somewhere in here. Roman Reigns eliminates Goldust, and while he's doing that, he kind of does like this smile thing, and Dean Ambrose comes up from behind him, throws him over the top rope, but Roman Reigns hangs on to the bottom. Seth Rollins comes over, he's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Dean Ambrose is telling him whatever his logic is for this move. At that point, Cesaro comes over, tries to eliminate both of them. They get saved because there's 2 versus 1. And then, they drag Cesaro over to try to eliminate him. Roman Reigns gets up and dumps all 3 over. At this point, that ties him with 12 eliminations with Kane. Guess what happened? At this point, it's Roman Reigns, Sheamus, CM Punk, Batista was your final 4 of the 2014 Royal Rumble. Kane comes in out of nowhere and eliminates CM Punk. And if the crowd was not into this match because Daniel Bryan wasn't here, at this point the crowd could give a crap less about the rest of this event. Because pretty much as soon as Punk was eliminated, they lost all interest in this match. They pretty much pooed on everything else that happened. He chokeslammed CM Punk through a table. At this point I realized, wow, they're really just going to do what I thought they were going to do. This is going to be awful. So it's down to the final 3, Roman Reigns, Batista, Sheamus. They kind of all intermingle. Sheamus kind of gets heat. Batista kind of gets a little bit of control. Roman Reigns gets kind of a bit of control. They dump Roman Reigns on the mat. And then Batista and Sheamus are trading back and forth. Sheamus almost gets eliminated. Batista almost gets eliminated. But then Roman Reigns, Batista kind of throws Sheamus over the top. Roman Reigns does like a running shoulder spear to Sheamus to further eliminate him. That is 13 eliminations for Roman Reigns. And right after that, Batista dumps him out. And everybody was going to be crushed. But at the last second, Roman Reigns kind of catches the bottom rope. Saves himself, comes back in, and it's for the final 2. Roman Reigns, the person who just broke a 13-year record by Kane, versus Batista, and they did like the whole young lion versus veteran, 6-time world champion versus a tag team champion. Like, what is going to happen? Batista can't say he's the bigger of the 2, etc. And the crowd was, very boo heavy anytime Batista had offense. And I guess because Roman has kind of earned it in some ways or shape or form, they kind of decided, well, if Daniel Bryan's not going to win, and as long as Batista doesn't win, we're happy. And basically they decided to try to make Roman Reigns a star, which WWE's like okay with. They even gave like a Roman Reigns champ at one point. Batista hit a sloppy looking spear, and then while he's like getting ready to do the power bomb, he's like doing the rope shaking, and then he does the finger thing. As he turns around, he gets hit with the spear by Roman Reigns, which everybody popped for. And that's when they chanted Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. So it looks like Roman Reigns is going to eliminate him. He looks up at the WrestleMania sign real quick, picks him up, goes to throw him over the top rope, whispers in his ear real quick, hey, you're just reverse and throw me over the top. It was real plain as day. I don't know what to tell you. It was pretty obvious. Batista reverses it, throws him over the top, and you're a winner of the 2014 Royal Rumble, Batista. The match, just a match, nothing outside of it. The match was sloppy. The match had a lot of dull moments in it. I thought the surprises were pretty underwhelming. So as far as that's concerned, like, the match was just probably one of the more boring Royal Rumbles I've seen in a long time. So then when you stack up like the Daniel Bryan thing on top of it, and like where they're going with WrestleMania, with Batista going to the main event right as soon as he comes back, I was just like really deflated at this point. I mean, if it wasn't for Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt in the first match, this whole pay-per-view pretty much would have been scrap. I'm pretty sad that I spent like $60 on this. It kind of makes me not want to order WrestleMania, but I'm a mark, so I'm probably going to buy WrestleMania because it's one of the only two pay-per-views I order. I order the Royal Rumble and I order WrestleMania. But the crowd really, they really lost the crowd. I mean, I wish I could tell you that WWE heard them loud and clear because it was pretty obvious, like how badly the crowd turned on them. But nobody really left. I mean, there wasn't like, they didn't really speak out. They didn't completely turn. I mean, they tried to turn on this match, but like they still wanted to see, who won. And so they stayed. I think like maybe there's like a mass exodus of like people leaving. Maybe that would, it's been something WWE couldn't have ignored. But I mean, some boos and some not liking of like what happened, I don't know if that's going to be enough to turn WWE from what their plans are right now. And so, as a fan who has been a WWE kid since pretty much since I was born, because like WrestleMania was in 1984, so obviously I was too young to get it. So by the time WrestleMania 5 came around, I was pretty aware. I even probably at some point went back and watched the first couple so many times that it seems like I was there, or it seems like I have memories of them. But that's just not possible. But it's just, I've seen it so many times, it's kind of in there. So I've basically been a fan since I was born. And it's kind of, I've never really seen the product so bad. I mean, I know like during the early 90s, ticket sales wise and ratings wise, WWE wasn't doing so hot. They had Bret Hart, they had Shawn Michaels, they had Diesel, they had Razor Ramon, they had guys who were over. The crowd never really turned on the product as fervently as they have during this era. I guess some people call it the reality era. WWE wants to call it the universe era. I'm pretty underwhelmed by the direction the company's going in. The other day I watched the Monday Night Raw for the first time in a year. For the first time they've been under the 3 hours, and I didn't like it. It was a slugfest to get through that thing. I just don't know if I could really be interested in a product that is this piss poor. But to be honest, they're going to the WrestleMania. This is the one time a year I really ever pay attention. Kind of like a lot of people, but kind of really disappointed by this. I mean, I wish I could be fed up, but like I know nothing I say is really gonna matter. WWE's just gonna do whatever they want to do. I'd be interested to see what you guys thought about the Royal Rumble. So click the subscribe button, leave a couple comments, tell me what you think. Maybe you make a response video. Give me your quick thoughts about like how disappointed you are in Batista. I mean, if somebody's out there excited, let me know, because I think like a lot of people are gonna be calling into like the internet shows and like bitching and moaning, kind of like I, but they're gonna be a lot angrier. I'm kind of interested to see if there's anybody that's really excited about it. I guess Batista versus Randy Orton program. It's the only thing I can think of. But, we have Elimination Chamber to really find out. So that was your 2014 Royal Rumble. This has been Broken Thoughts. I am your host, Rob Demeni. JB has left the premises. Sorry about that. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.